Okay, guys, this stuff's not fun. So I'm going to go as quickly as possible so that you guys can take the time to go do it slowly on your side. So first, all we're going to do is just verify everything that we've already collected on data side. For the value, we need to verify it. And even if you went to the full appraisal route and got a licensed, state licensed appraiser to do your value, you still need to verify it yourself because guess who it falls under? It falls under you. Even though you paid someone, it doesn't mean jack squat. The paid you paid for them is just the hard work that they did to get the license to give you the number. The number is still an opinion-based number for them. So I have found many times the data on the appraisal are also wrong. And then you have to go correct the state licensed appraiser guy to go fix his errors. So please verify everything down to the detail. The detail being the physical realm and documents and asset. So if you've already been to the property, the measurements of the property, everything else. For properties you don't have access to, you verify the data to the best you can, which is the physical records. And this is what we're going to verify first, and then we're going to get into the debt, how we verify the debt on the property. Let's get into it. To verify the value appraisers, we just need to verify the data. So to do that, we need to find the property record card. The property record card is what the tax appraiser uses to verify its data, which again is sometimes wrong so that people pay less on taxes. So this is why you also want to verify the property. The property is the actual verification. The property record is as much as you can do if you don't have access to that property. So how do we get there? We get there by first finding our property we're looking at, whether it's the subject or the comp. We find the address. We look at what city it's in, New Bern, North Carolina. We figure out what county New Bern is in, and then we search up that county. All the records are all going to be county records. If you're in a city inside a county, then it's just going to be a city record. Verify that you're using actual government structured websites, which is going to be a .gov website. If you can't find the .gov website, it's probably a software website that's just trying to make an ease of access for you. We're again in the due diligence period, so we need the physical records. And the most we can get down to the physical records without having to go to the actual county record to go get it. If we can't do it, then we have to go to the county record and get the actual record if we can't get to the property. So from here, sometimes it'll be on here. Again, all the verbiage may be mixed matched a little bit because every county has their different slang and dialect. So just try to search around for wherever county you're looking for. It'll look something like this, and then we can click on it, find the property record card. If you're more of a visual person, instead of looking through that way, you can go to the GIS, which is just the Geographic Information Center that every county uses. So then you can find it and just go to GIS map. And then from here, you can search from the name and the address and stuff. If not, and you go through this, the public record site, you can find it through its search it down, find the address, and then you can find the address and its record. And then from here, it'll give us some information, but we want the actual property record card, which looks like this. From here, I can do the same thing over here. It'll show me right here, property record card. And here it shows me all the information. Or I can find the appraisal property record card, which again is this one. From here, I'm just verifying data that the square footage, the room count, they all match up to this property record card. And if it not, then I go to the property and verify the property if available. If not, I have to use this. This may be wrong. I have gotten screwed over where this and an agent also did not go to the property to verify it for me, even though I pay an agent to do this. They didn't do it. I got a survey done that verified the square footage, and no one wanted to take anything besides what was on this property record card. And afterwards, that I lost the contract to purchase it, they still did not fix the issue and still was claiming as an agent, oh, I can claim this much square footage, even though the system was wrong. So again, verify the physical asset if available first. From here, we want to note down the deed book and the parcel number. The deed book and the parcel number. The deed book and the parcel number. Now we're going to get into verifying the actual deed title side and the debt side so that that actual equity value number is the most accurate number for us. Even though we use state licensed people to go get those numbers for us, those numbers still fall on us. It doesn't matter. You're not ever going to get your refunds from whatever you pay, whether it's 500 for title, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 800 for, I paid a 2,000 for an appraisal once, and it's been completely wrong. I literally had to submit for his appraisal license to the appraisal board to get notified that, hey, this guy should not be doing appraisals if this many incorrections were datally wrong. And how do we do that? We just look at the public records. The property record, even though it's a public record, you're not going to find if you search up public records because it's not in the public record system. That deed book page number means that it's in the actual physical book, that book number, how many books of public records we have, it's in that number of book, the physical copy. We can search up the electronical copy. If not, if you're in a non-disclosure state like Texas, Alaska, you're not going to have access. You're going to be limited to this stuff. So Craven County Public Records. Another way, you can go Craven County Register of Deeds. The deeds is just kind of a category of a public record. It's still a public record, so they may have just a separate section of deeds, and that deed just signifies that it's a property public record. Even though it's all in the same public record spot, it's just a property section of the public records. You'll have marriage, you'll have divorce, you'll have many other type of public records. We're just looking at property public records, which is Registry of Deeds. So if you want to go all the way down to Registry of Deeds, if you can't find it that way, just use public record search. Look for .gov site. You'll find public record software to do it. They'll charge you, and you're still going to have to verify, even though you pay someone to do it, you're going to have to verify yourself the best capable you can, either the physical asset or the physical record. And since we can't physically time travel to go to the time and dates that these transfers got done, our only option is physical records, which is on a .gov site. And if we can't find it on the .gov site, we have to go down to the county record office and find the physical document. With that being said, there's two definitions that I want to pinpoint: title and deed. These are two different things. Deed is a physical object, and title is an abstract object. Just know those two things about those, and this will make this conversation quicker. So deed is the physical ownership, which is the physical record history file of a property. Title is the abstract ownership definition of that deed. The deed is not a single piece of paper that just transfers and moves around. The deed is a folder of its history of records, of its transfers, of its different loans it had on it, all that good stuff. That physical record transfers ownership through the different types of deeds. And we have different types of deeds, being quitclaim deeds, which is like a pen and paper pocket deed, pretty much. A lot of people don't understand this. A pocket deed is a deed that I can write on a piece of paper with the correct stuff on it and transfer my property without having to go down to the public record and file it, without having going to a title attorney to do it for me. And that's still 100% legal and 100% part of the game. You can do that. And 100%, that new person on that penciled paper is 100% the new legal owner. Now, there's other types of deeds that offer more security to that transfer. Obviously, as soon as he records it, a lot more security into, hey, I am making it publicly known that I am the new owner. Otherwise, it's secret that I'm the new owner. Or you have a warranty deed, which is, there's two different types of warranty deeds. There's a limited warranty deed and a general warranty deed. A general warranty covers basically the whole ownership of that file, saying, as a seller, I am going to transfer you this. I am selling you this, warranting, guaranteeing that I am 100% the legit owner. And if anything or anyone says otherwise, that they got a pocket deed somewhere else, or they filed with so-and-so saying that they had a right of ownership to it, then it becomes the seller's issue that they are responsible for that transaction. If it's a limited one, then it's saying, I'm only warranting my history that I know on the property, and I'm selling this to you saying, I have never done any other pocket deed or any other transfer with anyone else. And I'm warranting if you find anyone saying otherwise in my history of ownership, then I warranty and it's my fault. And that's the two different types of that. Then you have mortgage deeds, which a mortgage deed is just what it is. It's a mortgage loan against a property. Now, I want to make this clear because this is going to blow some even the advanced investors out there. If you're into sub two communities and doing that, then you know this. And this is the stuff that middle to beginner investors don't know and understand. A mortgage deed is a deed that's a loan that's between two parties. Those parties being the homeowner and the bank, the lender. That's it. Now, when you get into a trust deed, it's a second mortgage. Now, what's the difference? What's that hierarchy difference? That hierarchy difference is those two different mortgage types. A mortgage deed that's between two parties and a trust deed that's between three parties. Well, who's the third party on a second mortgage, even though it's the same loan structure? The loan structure is different because of the way it gets titled and recorded as a deed. Those three parties on that trust deed, the second lien mortgage, is the homeowner, the mortgage, the loan guy, and the property. Three guys, two guys. But hey, the first mortgage has more rights and claim to the property than a second mortgage. Yes, it does, through the contract. And even though on the mortgage deed, I have three parties that includes the property. The two-party one still has more rights and rules and regulations to actually pull and have rights to that property. The third party on the one has right to, now what's the difference, you may ask? A mortgage deed is again between two parties, a homeowner and the loan mortgage guy, the bank. That now disconnects this property deed ownership, and I can transfer that deed. And the only way that this deed can pull my property is if I don't follow this contract, the loan contract, but not the deed contract. For the second lien mortgage, he already has that third party tied to his contract, which gives him more security. The first lien mortgage, he's limited to his actual security of the property, even though he may be funding most of the property's value and equity. So those are the two types, and I want to clarify those. Now, there's many different structures and benefits to that you can leverage as an investor, and there's many different benefits and structures to that as an actual bank and lender. You got to dive into it. The sub two community has gotten a lot into this and has tried to push it out there, like Pace Morby and all those guys. Yeah, let's digress into what we're here for: equity invoice contracts instead of sub twos. That's a whole different strategy and a whole different ballpark. I've taken everything from that and I've structured it into equity invoice contracts to help our mission and help the game better. So when you file these are going to get filed as trust deeds. So when you go down to the public record and you file an equity invoice contract, you are filing it as a trust deed saying, hey, I have this physical document record of the abstract title claim to that deed. I now put my record into that deed folder and it makes me a title owner to that deed. I am not the deed owner. I'm not the folder owner, but my deed is in that folder. And then when it's in that folder, I now have abstract title to that deed. And this is the power of not just real estate deeds and equity, but the contract on the side that connects that deed. How there's two different types of mortgages. Now there's also two different types of second mortgages. Without getting into further detail of that and how that works, that's just the power of equity invoice contracts and the game in the system structure of trust deeds, aka real estate wealth, all the secrets within that. So to cover that on a summary, deed is the physical folder record And if I'm the homeowner, I am the one that owns that folder. Title is all the ownership of the records that are in that folder, meaning, hey, I have claim to this ownership. And that there's different ownerships, different titles based on the deeds that get recorded in that folder. A deed of trust, deed of mortgage, warranty deed that transfers the full folder. And that's what we're here to verify out for our due diligence. We want to find its folder. The issue, though, is for some reason, the public record doesn't put it all in one folder. They just have all of the records. So as our job and what title search is finding all the records out there in the public record and pulling them together into that folder for us to verify who actually owns that folder and everyone that owns that in that folder. That's as much due diligence as we can do for the physical record and document. And you can go down to the public record to actually verify and pull all that. Or you time travel and find exactly when everyone made these deals and then make the history for it, which isn't possible. So we're stuck with this. And to make it even worse, if someone along the line made some kind of pocket deal and there's some kind of physical record on paper that wasn't recorded, that messes up that whole folder that we're able to collect, we can only take the communication trust of the other party that we're dealing with. And that's what will get taken to court, and the same process will happen. Anyone and everyone has to find some kind of physical record and document, and if not, it comes down to word by word. So it matters how much you actually want to spend time-wise on investing into this, or you can spend as little time as knowing communications, knowing body language, knowing trust, knowing relationships, to just take someone's word on the actual document that says a disclosure, hey, you have claimed this, saying this, and if you have mistaken on this, I still have these protections and rights to go after you. And it's your responsibility as the homeowner signing this claim that you're responsible to do all those checks for me. You want to protect yourself because it is also your investment. And this is why I'm teaching all this, so that you can do it yourself, so that you know what they should be doing if they didn't do it themselves. If not, you can go hire the state regulated people, title attorneys, and they'll do this search for you. And then they'll have you sign the disclaimer saying, I hold no liability for this. That will be about around $100. Or you can have them add on insurance to it, and it'll be around 500 or so, depending on the property and the depth that they have to do on that title search. Then they'll insure it at that point of what they're going to actually give you, even though you're paying them in the first place at the $100 mark. Now they're going to give you insurance saying, we will insure any mistake that happens within the guidelines of how much detail they can search the corners without word of mouth, pocket deeds being somewhere out in the boonies. So I hope that all kind of fits together more of how the game operates, and that you don't have to go through all these systems and these current structures and all these fees and do all this stuff. You can do all this stuff 100% free. You just have to know how to. And it's not that hard. So right here it says public records. We click on it. It's going to bring us to here, and then we can start searching. Once we start searching, you'll find why we noted down that deed book number is so that we can find the deeds. And then once we find the deeds, it'll show us all the deeds for that. And the issue is that none of these records, sometimes they'll look like this and it'll be a pain. No one goes through and sorts these. These are county level paid people. You think they have someone sitting here going back through all of these records and organizing and filing this? No. And as advanced as AI is, these are all pictures because it's old documents and scans. Second, a lot of this stuff is abstract. We're talking about title, which is an abstract thing, to a physical deed. Yeah, it can sort and find all this physical document, but this is why it takes the abstract of reading the document, because the document itself is an abstract thing of saying, I'm giving ownership to this person and that person, and ownership is an abstract thing that AI cannot account for. So we put in that book number and that page number. Sometimes it won't look like this, and you'll just have a name you have a parcel number. It'll be very obstruct, so you may have to change around how you search, but search from today backwards. And we're just going to follow a chain of history as much as possible that we can find of every record attached to this property. So from here, it may or may not pull up all of the deeds. So this is where I have to start clicking in these and actually start reading it. And I have to go back and find, because some deeds may be attached to other lots and it may not show up in the search history. In the search history, it's just going to show up what I show up on this lot number and this book deed. So I just have to make sure that I'm going back and actually tracking down as much as possible. Thankfully, the system's a little bit built in there that it actually keeps you from actually doing that. Sometimes you'll find that, hey, I'm only pulling up the current owner and the current owner's records. This is where you have to actually go into the documents, read the documents, what kind of warranty deed or what kind of deed it is. If I know it's a warranty deed, or if I know if it's a title deed, a transfer deed, then I know the folder is getting transferred. So then I just go in and figure out what kind of deed is. I'm looking for the transfer deeds, and then also all of the other deeds to make sure there's no extra mortgages or deeds. So from here, I'm going to either start from the parcel number, the owner's number, or the book number and the deed page number that I pulled on that property record card and start searching. I can only start searching from current and back. It's not going to pull up every record. I have to go into these documents and find all of the records. This shows me this current owner's records, and this will now show me the next deed number or the document number or the book number to go follow and track the next owners. So that's how you guys do a title search. And what you're looking for is any kind of monetary claim or rights, monetary titles to that deed. So you can verify the debt on the property so that you know that equity percentage number is valid to where you're going to get paid at closing the next time it sells. If not, and there's someone else that has some other right or claim record filed before you, they will get paid before you get paid, depending on the deed and the type of deed that it gets put in there. If it's a trust deed, it's dependent on who gets filed first and who made the agreement first. If it doesn't fall under the homeowner is the one responsible and is signing his equity, his property away for everyone. So he's the one at the end of the day is fully liable, even though he pays all these different industries to do these services for him and take care of him. He is still the one liable and signing his name on everything. You're just here to verify for that for him. And also, if you're a homeowner, this is how to also verify your own if you're in some situation that you don't know what you signed when you signed it and an agent didn't tell you whatever you were signing, or someone pulled out a HELOC didn't knowing that it was tied to your property. Some other common due diligence that we need to make sure is the property. Hey, is the property's value going to depreciate before it gets sold on the contract? So as a contractor, he should already be looking and verifying over the rest of the property. And as a homeowner, you should also want him to do that just to make sure everyone's making sure that this asset and project is going to get valued the most and last the longest. And lastly, if you have a homeowner that doesn't understand or even knows what he's signing in his disclosures about debt, or you just don't trust him, do a soft credit pull on him. Because at the end of the day, if the asset fails, if it burns down, if it gets deteriorated, if he just makes it worse and it's unsellable, it's going to fall under his pocket, and you're going to have to trace him down if the house gets foreclosed and you don't get enough money out of it because you're a second lien and not a first lien. And there's many ways to do free soft credit pools. Just do a Google search and you'll be able to find that if you feel that that's what you need to do. So to summarize, for our due diligence, we verified the value, even if it's an appraiser licensed state appraisal number, verify the details on the subject property and the comps that were used on that. If you're doing it yourself, verify that with the homeowner and the contractor that you guys are both agreeing to that price. Checking the property, making sure that the property is going to last that value for the term of the contract or the next time that it's going to get transferred and sold. Making sure that we look at all the financial risk on the homeowner too, that they are responsible for that asset that you're now getting tied to, and taking the time to actually do these steps and processes. Don't trust the software and don't trust the state licensing reps of appraisers, title agencies, real estate agents. It all falls under you for taking the interest and investing into equity instead of cash. These are the simple fundamentals of an underwriting process for a home equity invoice contract. It's up to you to structure it, how depth you want to take this into your business. If you want to do soft credit pulls, if you want to go full appraisers on everything, or if you just want to have disclosures and agreements with the person you're doing business with. Because at the end of the day, once this gets taken to court, it falls under, again, word to word of that agreement of who can prove what if it wasn't actually documented and proved.